It changes everything. So says Indiana corn grower Nathan Davis about innovative Xyway LFR fungicide from FMC. Xyway brand fungicides are the first and only at-plant corn fungicides to provide unprecedented, season-long, inside-out foliar disease protection. Discover more grower and retailer success stories at xyway.ag.fmc.com. Always read and follow all label directions.
Sometimes in life, you find yourself on the right side of the line.
Do you think there's a little PTSD somewhere in there in the biathlon? I mean, you've got somebody wore out to their wits' end, and now you're going to hand them a rifle? Is that really a good idea?
I mean, I'd be like that one girl, Carrie Strug. I mean, she made that jump with a broken ankle. I could do that.
Live from Texas, this is the Dryline Farmer Podcast. You hear that? It's Brent and Landon, and this is the Dryline Farmer Podcast.
This is the Dryline Farmer Podcast. That's a proud name we go by. Landon, as always, Landon, what's been going on in the last week since I saw you last on a virtual
a lot of the same
screen?
Old Brent. Just shipping that grain.
So are we going to have a record profit year this year?
I don't think we're going to have the bumper wheat harvest that we were hoping for.
Why? It's only not rained in like 6 months.
We went driving around the other day, and like all the irrigated wheat we saw looks like crap.
So, yeah. So we've got obviously we're in wheat grazing country down here, and you go anywhere, people have been irrigating, and I guess I hadn't really seen too many circles that have been irrigating with the cattle on it, but we've done that before. But anyway, we have, there's irrigated circles all over the place with cattle on them, and I mean, they freaking mowed them to the ground. Now, some of them, of course, were overstocked, but we've got all irrigated rye instead of the wheat, and it seems to, we got a little more growth on it early on, but like I was just there checking today again, and I mean, seems like just like the last 5 days they've mowed it down, and I mean, I'm not down to the ground, but I'm getting close, and they've still probably got, let's see, it's the middle of February, so, you know, I got another month with them, and I guess they've had good weather to gain on, so they've been gaining real well, but they've freaking eaten everything they can find in sight, so it's, Landon, I'm thinking I wouldn't be looking for I would send your elevator guys home at like 6 every night during wheat harvest. Which they probably, let's be honest, they probably go home at 6 anyway, don't they?
Yeah, it just depends what they write down.
That's what they write on their card. I see. I see. That's Hereford Grain. If you would like any employment opportunities, check them out. Hereford, Texas, downtown. No, we don't have a co-op downtown, but whatever the case. So Landon, what's the Milo basis like now? I figured we get some farming talk in. What do you think?
Oh, for old crop, it's like 5 over. Next year's crop, I think it's a quarter under. It's not as good right now.
Yeah.
We're hoping it improves.
I liked that big over. I don't like the underword, unless we're talking about getting nice. But so it's but the cotton and the corn market looks pretty good, Landon. We're looking kind of forward to that, even though I kind of liked that 2-day cotton harvest last year. That did kind of kick ass. I won't lie. I mean, that was awesome. I don't know why we had to work till 11 o'clock the second night, but I guess we wanted to. I guess we were afraid the market was going to drop on that Tuesday or something. So we worked late into the dark hours of 11 o'clock, and my old nephew had the stuff blown off by the next morning. So you do that when you can. But anyway, we're going to do some random talk tonight, and I'm just going to throw a few subjects at Landon, see what he's got. And while we're in the farming mood, if you didn't hear that first spot we're back getting supported by FMC. Now, this edition here of the Dryline Farmer Podcast is brought to you by Xway. Is it Xyway brand fungicides by FMC? I think that's what it is. Well, check out this radio spot here we've got for you, and we'll be right back. we're going to throw Landon some curveballs and see what he thinks about the pitches about to be thrown his way right here on the Dryline Farmer Podcast.
Go long for season-long foliar disease protection that starts at plant. Only Xyway brand fungicides from FMC provide season-long foliar disease protection from the start. Active ingredient flutriafol moves through your corn plants as they grow for inside-out protection from roots to tassel. Growers and retailers are sharing their Xyway brand fungicide success stories at xyway.ag.fmc.com. Always read and follow all label directions.
Well, Lennon, I wish we could just record what we do while we're not recording. That would probably get us a whole lot more downloads.
That would be smart.
Of course, we'd have to move and assume fake names from then on, but,
Yeah. I'd be out of work.
you would be out of work, and I would be out. Well, I guess we'd have each other because we wouldn't have any. No, we're not talking about our friends, but we would have to move to a different state. If nothing else, a different time zone. But, what are you going to do? So, let's get into, I don't know, I was just looking at this whole Bob Saget thing. Landon thinks we need to start a new the question is what would we call our true crime podcast? Would it be false true crimes or what? I mean, I never saw True Lies was it Schwarzenegger?
Could it be fun true crimes?
Yeah. True crimes, or are they? Something like that. Something in parentheses. But no, this Bob Saget deal is pretty interesting. Or I guess it's sad, of course. But they're just. I guess the autopsy just came out. Let's see here. I'm gonna just go ahead and pull up this AP news story, and I'm gonna get Landon's professional forensic opinion on this. So I don't want your subscription. The medical examiner said last week that Saget had died. Can you imagine the amount of hell that poor guy got as a kid with the last name of Saget?
Yeah.
I mean,
I can imagine.
I guess his parents could have called him, named him Richard. I mean, but I digress. So, said he had died from an accidental blow to the head, likely from a backwards fall. An autopsy report showed that Saget had an abrasion on his scalp, a fracture at the base of his skull. Now, this is where, again, my professional and medical license comes into play. Fractures around his eye sockets, that's like the biggest one. Bleeding from the brain, okay, you hit your head, you can do that, and tissue covering the brain as well as bruises to the brain. A toxicology analysis didn't show any illicit drugs or toxins in his body. Now, this is like the JFK assassination video, isn't it? He went backwards and to the left, So if you fall backwards, you're not busting up your eye sockets, are you? Usually you're getting smashed in the face with a 5-fingered sandwich, aren't you?
Yeah, damage to the eye socket's kind of consistent with a punch.
Yeah. So during the course of the autopsy and death investigation, the ME's office and Sheriff's Office created graphic videos and photos of Saget's body. It's kind of weird how they worded that. They made videos on YouTube of it, as well as audio recordings. Such records are prohibited by state law from being released publicly, but some media outlets have already filed requests for them. Okay, so the family, which I don't blame them, is suing. So I guess they're probably trying to get the Freedom of Information Act deals. But the family is suing because they say they will suffer irreparable harm in the form of extreme mental pain, anguish, and emotional distress. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, that's understandable. So it goes on to say, talks about when Dale Earnhardt died, the records of his autopsies were required to be kept confidential, with only surviving family members or a government agency as part of the official duties allowed to view them. So, Landon Perry Mason Nolan, what do you think?
It sounds like it wasn't just from a fall, but I certainly don't know.
Are you willing to stake your professional career on that?
No.
No. I mean, you're a non-existing professional medical opinion. So, no, I mean, it's a sad situation, but the fact that his eye sockets, I mean, that's almost like the glove doesn't fit, even though it shrunk because of all the blood.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was found. That was back on January 9th. He was 65 years old in the Ritz-Carlton. So, I don't know. Just one of those non-farming stories I really kind of just ran across here on Twitter. And I'm letting Landon share the screen with me. So, anyway, let's see. I mean, we can just, if we want to, we can just do what's trending on Twitter. Let's see.
It's just all these pop-ups you're getting.
Big dick. No, that's not any. You gonna watch the Daytona 500 this week, Landon? Is it this week? You're not a gearhead?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna watch it either. So, well, okay, Landon, let's get on this. So I'm gonna throw the first one at you. So we're got farmer in the name of our podcast. So we're gonna go over the 2021 farm corn. Let's start over. The 2021 corn yield contest winners. Now, this thing has a perennial winner every year because that's what perennial means. And the numbers are pretty shocking. Landon, I believe, shot this in 2 weeks of golf. And that was like net. This wasn't even his gross one. This is what he netted after his handicap was figured in. So, David Hula of Charles and his son were first and second, respectively, with, do we need a drum roll here? Or, I don't know, maybe like a wah-wah, 602 bushel, 1 acre yield. Now, Landon, that is, I guess it's not quite 2 full combine bins, but 602, and this is what really puts it over the top, 602.1684. If it had just been 602.178, I would have believed it. But that 2.1684, man, I tell you what, that's, I don't know how much a kernel weighs. I'm thinking, which that's a bushel, but there's how many, so corn seed, there's what, 80,000 seeds in a bag of corn seed, and there are 80,000, there's 80,000 seeds in a 50-pound bag. So that's not quite a bushel. So we're going to say what, 83,000 in a bag, in a bushel. So that would be, yeah. That's this dude, he wins every year and they say they got auditors with him. This dude spills more than our average yield if he's making 602 bushels. I mean,
that is unreal. I would you'd think those stocks would just be hanging down.
So you would think there's
9 ears per stock.
Yeah. So you got 2 ears. So I'm going to look up Charles City, Virginia, and see what the environment. It can only rain so much until you're, till you're getting drowned out. So he's got to have is that stuff just growing out of literal cow shit? Do you think? Well, so this ground has been farmed since the Revolutionary War. So this is isn't this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toxic waste stuff?
Secret of the ooze.
Yeah, the secret of the ooze. So I
wonder if he has Vanilla Ice singing next to his corn.
I don't know, man. I don't know. He must have. So Charles City, this is on the James River. So I'm going to try to get, I don't want the map. I want the, there we go. The satellite imagery. And I want to see, so it's all green, which we can't. Is that, okay, so what is the red line mean here? So I'm on Google Maps here, and I don't know if it's not a county line. What is that? Is it this Charles City, township border, or what is that?
Is that where the South still survives?
That's where the South will rise again, man. So it says Charles City County is a county located. Yes, I know it's in Virginia. It's situated southeast of Richmond and west of Jamestown. It is bounded on the south by the James River and on the east by the Chickahominy River. So this is where most of your country songs are written. So let's see here. So I don't see any center pivots anywhere, Landon. Lots of pools.
If you find a center pivot on this, I'm going to be impressed.
We couldn't grow that with drip irrigation.
How would you grow that 1 acre without a center? I guess you'd have to row water the hell out of that 1 acre.
So he is he's in the which he's always the overall winner, but he's in the no-till irrigated category. So this just lists the top 3 in each category. So the closest thing to this guy is Mr. Kevin Kalb of Du Bois, Indiana, with 403.7599 bushels. He had a DeKalb variety. Of course, Mr. Hewlett and his son are all Pioneer fellas.
I wonder if he's part owner of the DeKalb company.
It's very possible. Oh, Kalb. Yeah. What's DeButt? No, that's DeKalb. So, back in Hewlett's in the no-till irrigated category, Hewlett was 602. His son was 583, and the next closest guy was Connor Garrett in Iowa at 387. Landon, you know what I'm thinking here? I'm thinking this guy must have some transgendered corn, is all I can figure, because he is lapping the competition. I'm pretty sure he's not growing ears. He's growing penises, is what he's growing.
Are you sure he's not in Pennsylvania?
Oh, man. Because, I mean, so we've got...
My favorite on this list is the one guy from Nebraska is named Creighton.
Great. So, I was wrong here. There's a guy in the conventional irrigated category at 465 from Michigan. So, I take that.
How come all us Texans suck at growing corn?
Because have you been to Texas?
Brad, we want to see you on here.
I know. So yeah. So my dad, which it's hard to well, no, it's not hard to make fun of, because my dad actually won the no-till irrigated contest in, like, I don't know, back in 2000. I forget what year it was, but it was at 314. And all I can think of is Hewlett got held out that year. Is all I can figure. Because
do you get a ribbon or a belt buckle if you win this?
Dude, hell no, man. You get an expense-paid trip to the Commodity Classic in Anaheim, California. And we went to that son of a bitch. And, I mean, they were throwing – it was cocaine and hookers the whole time, man. They brought in ears of corn, and you sniffed coke off – you snorted it right off the ear, dude. And you had to bring your own corn, but – it's it's a pretty good deal. Yeah, I mean, you get a plaque, and really, like, the monetary prizes come from Pioneer. If you win, they'll hook you up with some stuff. So I'm almost wondering if Pioneer paid the expenses to the trip to the deal anyway. But whatever the case, it's that's how it was. But he must have gotten this dude. This dude gets held out, and he probably still make. Can you imagine what his insurance payment must be?
Probably still makes 150 bushels.
Yeah, right. So if I can go, oh no, I minimized it there. So Landon, I sure hope we're recording because we're talking a whole bunch. Let's see here. Yeah, we're talking. Okay. Back over here to this map. You know, I'm seeing. I guess he must have like what 15 feet of like compost, or I mean, how are you? And he's probably putting on like what these things are. I'm sure are like got steroids. They got everything that Barry Bonds took, and I mean, what do you think the possibility of this stuff is? Just like not even really corn, it's something else. But so he's this guy is like, I mean, he's living the good life. He is probably what 15 miles from the ocean, from the Atlantic Ocean.
What yields better than corn?
Do what?
What yields better than corn?
What yields better than corn? Sugar beets? I mean, dirt. Like if you haul dirt, I mean, you can. It's just unbelievable. Like, so you cut. You have to stop and unload. Then you have to cut again. I mean, it's mind-boggling to see how that's possible. I mean,
it seems like a lot of work for 1 acre.
Oh, you know what? I think I've got it here. You know what's next door to Charles City, Virginia? Sherwood Forest. I'm not saying so. This is the it's a foundation. The Sherwood Forest Plantation Foundation. So I'm zooming down. God, it's so scary how you can zoom down here. How close you can zoom. So it looks like those are stables. That's not a slave quarters.
Hey,
or
look!
anything.
Hey, look! They pee in their backyard too.
Dude, look at the size of that thing. That's Tommy Lee, man.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Man, no wonder those ears are so big.
He must go like out every morning and like do his business every morning and fertilize like each individual plant because. So figure he's planting like 36. I bet he's got to be planting like 36,000 an acre. So, that's 36,000 times. I don't guess you do that in a year, but anyway, I guess in Texas
All right.
you do, Mexico you do, but
I'm ready for the next curveball.
okay. So, completely different subject. What do you think? How do they celebrate Veterans Day in Germany? I mean, like from the World War II guys, I mean, are they getting a whole lot of pomp and circumstance and parades in Germany on Veterans Day?
I wouldn't think that day is too highly celebrated.
So what's the last war they can really celebrate their veterans for? I mean, are any of them still alive? German.
No.
So we're going to look up German Veterans Day. Okay. German is it's
How in the hell did you even think of this?
because that's how I think, and it's wintertime. It's called Volkstag. It is a commemoration day in Germany 2 Sundays before the first day of Advent. And it commemorates members of the armed forces of all nations. Oh, it's all nations and civilians.
So this is like on The Office when they're making all the toasts to the troops, and Ryan gets up and he goes, "A toast to the troops, all the troops, both sides."
I don't remember that one.
It's when they have the garden party out at Dwight's.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he gets up and he's like, "To the troops, all the troops, both sides."
It's for all nations and civilians. So basically, they don't have a Veterans Day just for Germany.
It sounds like somebody that lost a war. They're just gonna go join up and celebrate with everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, if France had a Veterans Day, they'd probably just give up and go back to work. But so this one's here is the Business Insider deal. Germany is planning a Veterans Day which would honor even its fallen Nazi soldiers. Okay. Now, this is in 2012, so this is 10 years ago. But it says Germany may finally institute a Veterans Day to honor its soldiers in fallen combat. Was that really being yearned for? I mean, they're saying they're finally instituting a well-deserved Veterans Day for the Nazi soldiers that fell in combat.
It must have been a pretty boring Oktoberfest.
Gosh, maybe that's why they're so popular over there. Germany has not observed a Veterans Day since the fall of Hitler's Third Reich in 1945. It does have a public day of mourning on November 11th, Volkstag, which honors soldiers and civilians killed in war. I mean, so like at the end, like I'm sure they have patriotic songs, but at the end, like in each chorus, does it say? Do they have a German phrase for "but it was really our fault," kind of thing? I mean, both times, Dankeschön or whatever. Newton says. Wayne Newton says.
They just end the song with 9-9.
Do you think they have Rammstein? They just play Du Hast the whole time. Is Du Hast German for "my bad"? Yeah. My bad.
We've got a concert headlined by Rammstein and the Scorpions.
I take it Scorpions is German.
Oh yeah.
And it's served by Schrute Farms. So yeah. Oh no, the German Veterans Day. It's kind of always intrigued me on. Do they have one?
Didn't Rammstein play like the biggest concert ever at one point?
Well, I don't know. How many times can you play Du Hast?
I don't know.
Dude, I've watched a lot of AC/DC, a lot of those concerts. Like, there's no telling how many thousands of people were at these things.
Oh yeah.
What was it? One was it? You Shook Me. I think it was You Shook Me All Night Long, and I guess it was on Argentina. And I mean, dude, it was like a Billy Graham crusade, is what it was like. It's what it looked like. So I don't think there was quite as much praying at this one though.
They're kind of going the other way.
Yeah, pretty. Yeah, just a little bit. The anti-crusade.
It's like my friend put that picture on my Facebook, and it's AC/DC and Led Zeppelin, and there's a stairway to heaven and a highway to hell, and then one looks at the other, and he goes, "I think this is where we part ways."
That reminds me of the Looney Tunes where they always had I don't know if it was for Elmer Fudd or Daffy Duck, but they had an elevator or an escalator up to heaven and an escalator down to hell.
Yeah.
And he's always tries to go up to the escalator to heaven, and he always gets like rejected and sent down to hell. And it was such a lighthearted subject. I didn't think anything of it back then when I was watching it.
Right. It's like that ESPN commercial where that reporter's fixing to get on the elevator and the New Jersey Devil mascot's already in there. And he goes, "Are you going up?" And he just shakes his head no. he just steps out real quick.
Or that Seinfeld episode where Putty paints his face for the New York Devils.
Yeah.
And he yells at that priest, "The Devils! The Devils!"
Got to support the team.
Diablo. Okay.
Like, "Go paint my face." "You won't? You'll do that for me?"
What?
"Yeah. I got to go get ready. I'll be back. We'll make out."
It's like, "What are you doing? You thought you were going to do that." I said I wouldn't paint my face. And this is clearly not my face. "Why are you doing that?" Support the team.
Gotta support the team.
Gotta support the team. Okay, Landon, final question for you. Over in Afghanistan, they probably don't. As a matter of fact, I know they don't have professional football, but if they did,
Wait, what country? I'm sorry.
Afghanistan.
Afghan, yeah.
Have you heard of it?
I have.
Okay. So, do you think say they had an Al-Qaeda football team and a Taliban football team, do you think the injured list would really get in their way?
Probably
Like from their off-field activities?
No, I don't.
You don't think suicide bombers would have a bad injured reserve list?
That's where you get sent.
I mean,
you would talk about guys playing through injuries.
Of course, I mean, I guess really there wouldn't be. I mean, you don't get injured from a suicide bomb. You pretty much, that's the end of it.
Yeah, I don't think you go on the report there.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of just like a missing persons report. So I'm watching the Texas Tech Baylor game right now, and they've got a lady. Holy crap! Are you watching this?
No,
On a unicycle, you've got
my screen.
Oh, so she's got bowls on her head, and she had like 4 or 5 bowls on one foot. She was balancing them, and she kicks them up and lands them all in the cups, in the bowls on her head. That's impressive. Are we sure they didn't move the Olympics to Lubbock, Texas, and the United Spirit Arena? Because that looks like it should be an Olympic event. Didn't we talk about the luge? We've talked about the luge, haven't we? How the two dudes are laying on each other, very ambiguously.
Ace and Gary style.
Yeah, Ace and Gary style. Have we talked? We've talked. I don't know if we've talked about that. And they're both wearing rubber. I mean, if I see a gerbil come crawling out of one of those dudes' pants legs, I'm never watching the Olympics ever again. So yeah, but I guess the Taliban Al-Qaeda. I thought that was a pretty good one. Basically,
what would their mascots be?
Huh?
Taliban tornadoes.
the Al-Qaeda shrapnels. The Taliban women haters. Yeah, I bet they'd have 72 cheerleaders on each team. What do you want to bet? And they would all be virgins, and they would all be really hairy. Well, that's I guess that's gonna do it, Landon, because I'm starting to fall short on good quick one-liners and salty puns.
Yeah,
so,
my last joke, you were yawning in the middle of it. So.
Sorry, well, you got to have a deep breath sometimes. Well, Landon, while we're there, why don't you tell everybody where you can find you on Twitter?
I'm at NoTwit Landon44.
And I'm at Trader Brent all over the place. Well, as long as it's on Twitter, and then of course you can find us on the Global Ag Network because that's what network we're on. And go ahead and check out all the great podcasts on that network. And we always like to drop a little plug for our good friend Casey Seymour over there on the Moving Iron podcast, where they talk moving and iron on their podcast. He's got his friend Aaron Fentanyl, I call him. So you can only take about a half a gram of him without dying. So go check them out and go ahead and give us a rating and review on iTunes. We'd really appreciate that. And tell all your friends about it. And if you know anybody that can teach you how to grow 602.1684 bushel corn, give me a ring, because corn's going to be, I hope the Hereford Grain Co-op has got a big cash stowaway, because they're going to be paying out the ass with $7 corn on the way.
You're going to make a ground pile of corn.
That's right, man. Okay, guys. Well, and also check out our latest sponsor, FMC, and support that outfit. I'm betting they're in on the 602 bushel corn, so I'm sure they can really help you with that. So, guys, until next time, y'all stay safe. Landon, they just knocked down a three-pointer, and it's 39-35 Baylor over with 4 points with 18:40 left in the game. And until next time, guys, y'all stay safe, and we'll ask you, what side of the line are you on?
The Dryline Farmer Podcast, a member of the Global Ag Network. There's podcasts, and then there's this, the Dryline Farmer Podcast.